The moment it happened, the sound cut through everything. Not loud like a scream, not sharp like glass breaking, just a flat, ugly sound that told your body something was wrong before your brain caught up. 1 second, my world was noise and movement and polite fake smiles. The next second, it was dead silent, and my 4-year-old son was staring up at me with that look kids get when they don't understand why an adult just crossed a line they didn't know existed. Yeah, that was the day everything changed. My name's Daniel Brooks, and for most of my life I've been the kind of guy people look past. Not invisible exactly, just misfiled. Middle row, background character. The guy who doesn't look like trouble but doesn't look important either. I grew up learning how to swallow disrespect with a smile, how to laugh things off, how to make myself smaller so other people could stay comfortable. You know what I mean? You learn early which battles cost too much energy and which ones you're supposed to just endure. That flight was supposed to be simple. Me, my son Noah, flying from Phoenix to Seattle for my sister's wedding. First vacation I'd taken in years. I don't look like the kind of guy who belongs in first class, and honestly, I usually don't care. But this time I splurged. Bonus at work. First big promotion, I wanted to do something nice for my kid. He was excited, kept asking if the plane would go higher than the clouds if birds ever got scared. I told him birds were braver than most people, and he nodded, like that made perfect sense. The looks started the second we boarded. Nothing overt. Just that pause when eyes linger a second too long, the little recalculation people do when you don't fit the picture they already painted in their heads. The lead flight attendant, a woman named Claire, barely glanced at us before her smile flattened out. She checked our boarding passes twice slowly, like she expected them to disappear if she stared hard enough. Then she handed them back without a word. I felt it in my chest, that familiar tightening, the reminder to stay calm, stay polite, don't give anyone a reason. Noah bounced into his seat, pressed his nose to the window laughing. I told myself it would be fine. It always is if you keep your head down. Except it wasn't. Drinks came around. Everyone else got asked champagne, coffee, sparkling water. We got skipped. Twice. Noah tugged my sleeve and whispered that he was thirsty. When I finally walked up to the galley and asked, Claire looked at me like I'd interrupted something important, like my existence was an inconvenience. "We're about to take off," she said, clipped and cold. "You need to be seated." I went back without arguing because that's what you do when you've learned how fast things can turn if you push back too hard. The plane took off. Noah had never flown before. The noise scared him. The vibration, the way the ground dropped away. He started crying, not screaming, just scared. I pulled him close, whispered to him, told him we were safe, that I was right there. That's when the comments started. Quiet, but not quiet enough. Someone behind us muttered about kids ruining everything. A woman across the aisle sighed dramatically. And then Claire appeared again, arms crossed, jaw tight. "You need to control him," she said. Not asking, telling. Like I'd let this happen on purpose. "I'm trying," I said. "He's just scared." "Well, first class isn't daycare," she replied loud enough for people to hear. Other passengers paid for peace. That word stuck with me, paid. Like peace was something only certain people deserved. Noah eventually calmed down. I thought that was it, that we'd ride out the rest of the flight quietly. Then he asked for water again. I pressed the call button. Claire came back fast, slammed a cup down on the tray. Noah's hands were small. The cup tipped. Water spilled, splashing onto the floor and onto a man's shoes in the row ahead. The man jumped up, swearing about his designer loafers. Claire stormed over like she'd been waiting for it. "That's it," she snapped. "I warned you." She leaned close to Noah, her face inches from his, and said something I still hear in my sleep. "Stop crying right now." Then her hand moved. I didn't even realize I was standing until I was already between them, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break ribs. Noah screamed not from fear, from pain. I scooped him up, shaking rage and disbelief tangling together in my chest. "You don't touch my child," I said, my voice barely steady. The cabin froze. And then a man stood up from a few rows back. Tall, calm, dressed like he belonged anywhere he chose to be. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked. Claire's tone changed instantly, softer, polite. She launched into a justification about disruption and rules and safety. The man listened, nodding, then asked one simple question. "Did you hit that child?" She hesitated. That was the moment, the crack in the mask. "My name is Marcus Hale," the man said, turning to me. "I own this airline." You could feel it ripple through the cabin. Phones came out, faces changed. Claire went pale. Marcus didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He told her she was suspended, told her security would meet the plane, told her what she'd done wasn't discipline or policy, it was assault. He knelt down in front of Noah, asked if he was okay, and something in his eyes shifted when he saw the red mark on my son's face. Something personal. When we landed, police boarded. Statements were taken. Claire was escorted off in handcuffs. Cameras flashed. I felt like I was floating outside my body watching someone else's nightmare unfold. Marcus stayed with us, made sure a doctor checked Noah, made sure we had lawyers' support time. I asked him why. He told me once quietly that he grew up being told where he didn't belong, that he promised himself if he ever had power, he'd use it differently. The video went viral. People argued. Some said she deserved it. Some said she was just doing her job. Some said I should have controlled my kid better. That part hurt more than I expected. But something else happened too. People started sharing. Stories poured in. People admitting they'd stayed silent. People saying they'd speak up next time. Claire lost her job. The airline changed its policies. Training accountability consequences. Noah went to therapy. He's okay now. Still loves planes somehow. Still believes most people are good. And me, I don't swallow things the same way anymore. I don't make myself smaller, because that day taught me something I wish I'd learned sooner. Silence protects the wrong people, and speaking up doesn't make you difficult, it makes you necessary. So here's my question for you. Was I right to stand up even if it caused chaos? Was she a villain or a product of a system that let her get away with it for too long? Have you ever seen something like this and stayed quiet, or did you speak up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue if you need to. Share your story, and if this made you uncomfortable, good. That's where real change starts. Like the video if you believe dignity isn't something you earn by fitting in. Subscribe if you want more stories that don't look away. And remember this, you don't need a title or power to protect someone. Sometimes all it takes is deciding you're done being silent.